Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I've been running loaders and graders for about 16 years now, and based on my experience, I'll try to break down and analyze some of the real situations that happen every day to guys working in the mining and construction industry, including here at our mine. So stick around till the end, because this one gets pretty intense. All right, our first clip comes from Indonesia, where on Friday, January 16th, a terrifying disaster happened at a nickel mine in East Halmahera Regency, North Maluku Province. Dashcam footage shows a truck driver reversing when he suddenly notices the ground collapsing around him. As the landslide starts pulling the truck in, he tries to maneuver and accelerate in a desperate attempt to escape. When he realizes there's no way out, he bails out of the cab. Nearby, at least 2 other workers operating heavy equipment can be seen running for their lives as the ground continues to give way. But here's the part I don't get. They all run in the same direction the landslide is moving. That's crazy, man. That's pure panic. The unmanned truck keeps moving on its own and ends up completely buried under soil and debris. The windshield shatters and the wipers are still moving as the truck disappears. Reports say 3 workers were buried by the debris, with 2 confirmed dead and 1 still missing. And honestly, it looks like the victims might be the same guys we see in the footage. It seems they ran in the wrong direction after all. The operator was like, dispatch, we've got a problem. My bucket just broke, but don't worry, I'm still holding it. A familiar situation. Here's the thing. This usually happens when an overloaded trailer is carrying way too much weight. When the load gets that heavy, the truck pulling it can actually have its front steering wheels lift slightly off the ground. And once that happens, steering control is basically gone. All the weight is concentrated on the trailer. So instead of the truck controlling the trailer starts pushing the truck straight ahead. Even if the steering wheels are turned, the truck just keeps going straight. That's exactly how situations like this happen. Same situation here. The dozer is loaded at the very back of the trailer, and that's where all the weight is concentrated. With that much weight on the rear, the whole truck gets slightly lifted off the ground. Because of that, the brakes have almost no effect. The wheels lose proper contact with the ground, and the truck can't brake the way it should. In situations like this, the truck always needs to be secured with wheel chocks under the tires. That's the only way to keep it from moving when the brakes alone aren't enough. A completely helpless situation. In moments like this, all you can really do is grab the steering wheel as tight as you can and pray to God you don't hit anyone or end up going over some cliff. This is one of those things you see online all the time, using fire to seat a tire. Yeah, it works sometimes, but it's extremely dangerous and not something you ever want to try yourself. One wrong move in that tire, the rim, or even the whole compactor, like in this video, can turn into a serious accident. Definitely a lack of communication. Dead angle, something we've talked about many times in previous videos. The guy in the loader is cleaning the access to the crusher when suddenly, bam, a 400-ton monster comes straight at him. What do you guys think? Who's at fault here? Let me know down below. A few days ago, I released a video about this. Anyway, real quick, here's what happened. The steering cylinder on the grader failed, most likely due to mud buildup on the front axle around the steering cylinder, and I lost steering, which was pretty obvious. I somehow managed to move the grader over to this pullout and wait for the mechanics to show up, but the whole situation was kind of dangerous. By the next morning, the road was frozen solid, and haul trucks were sliding past the grader like crazy. Anyway, if you want to see the full video, how we fought frozen mud, the weather, and how the whole repair went down, you can check it out in the top right corner. This is a very, very dangerous situation with potentially devastating consequences. That reflection can ignite anything: hay, tires, plastic, you name it. This guy should have bought a lottery ticket that day. Hall Road Winter Edition. Mud building up in the middle of the road can seriously slow down production. Tell me something. Which machine is the most suitable for this kind of job? To clear that much mud that's piled up in the middle of the road? This is epic. The cheapest recovery I've ever seen in my life. About 50 locals were enough to get this 18,800-pound machine back on its tracks out of the river. Guess team effort always pays off. Recently, Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky in Russia was hit by a massive snowstorm that buried the city under extreme snowfall. In some areas, vehicles were completely covered under more than 79 inches of snow, making streets nearly impassable and daily life extremely difficult. Thanks to heavy equipment and the operators running it around the clock, the city has somehow managed to keep things moving and maintain a sense of normal daily life despite the conditions. Without heavy equipment, this place would have been completely shut down. This is a well-known and very popular recovery machine in India, but it's extremely prone to failures when the load weight is misjudged, mainly because it doesn't have enough counterweight at the rear. That's exactly what happened in this footage. Poorly rigged cables made a real mess here. The machine launched like it was shot from a catapult, slammed back into the ground, and from the impact, it likely destroyed the engine or the transmission. You can clearly see a large amount of oil leaking from the crane. This was a very unprofessional, poorly planned, and badly executed recovery job. Now this is what I call a work of art. This guy is fueling from about 39 inches away, and he's doing it calm and relaxed like it's nothing. But make no mistake, this is extremely dangerous. All it takes is someone nearby lighting up a cigarette, and the next thing you know, he's holding a flamethrower. And I know this is diesel, but diesel can still be flammable, almost just like gasoline. There's simply no messing around with highly flammable stuff.
Oh, that's a big one, sorry.
Well, at least there's no dust. I don't think there's much chance of loading this massive boulder into the truck, but the operator has a different idea. Maybe you've seen this truck sitting like this for a while now. I already showed it in a previous video, but that footage was shot at night. There was a lot of water around it, and we had nowhere to de-water it. So we had to build it up and dry out this entire area. So, as you can see, this truck has a blown tire, and in a moment you'll get a closer look at how it all looks. Here we can see the forklift, and behind the truck there's a new tire ready to go. Basically, everything is ready for an on-site tire change. My job is to level everything out with the grader so the crane can approach safely and assist the forklift without any issues. All right, I'm done with my part with the grader. The crew's here, the crane's in. Basically, everything's set to mount the new tire. CCTV camera watching an intersection somewhere in Southeast Asia. This has to be good. Let's see what's about to happen. Steel coils, one of the deadliest loads out there when they're not secured properly. Just like we see here. People sometimes try to stop them with their own bodies and end up getting killed, but man, these things can weigh up to 30 tons. When they start moving, nothing is stopping them. Steering fault and that annoying beep, beep. I already talked about this issue earlier in the video. Mud built up around the steering cylinder, and the cylinder rod popped out of the joint. With steering like this, I somehow managed to make it to the workshop. You can see how it looks from here. When I turn right, the wheels turn left on their own. You can watch the full video at the link down below. Industrial accidents are some of the worst incidents a worker can face. When safety protocols aren't followed, people get crushed in presses, shredded in industrial machines, or caught in spinning equipment. The outcomes can be horrific. Something like that could have easily happened to this guy. Luckily, this massive metal cover fell on its front side when it detached from the crane. The cover was so large that the worker literally ended up inside it and walked away unharmed. If it had fallen the other side, with the flat side of the cover, I honestly can't even imagine what would have happened to this poor guy. Here's what happens when you overload a truck. You can hear the driver braking in the footage, but nope, The vehicle is overloaded and just keeps rolling down the slope. It looks like this truck ended up on its side due to overloading. You can see the entire load spilled along the side of the road and being loaded into another truck. Anyway, let's see how the recovery operation plays out. Well, at least he shook off all the dust that's been building up for years. Now I'm trying to understand something here. Why does the lift cylinder rod have this much play in the joint? And why did the bolts come loose? Let me know down below. I love the battle between nature and heavy equipment. And honestly, I love it even more when nature wins. This guy literally started climbing a tree with the machine, and yeah, I'd call this karma. And that's not even all. Wait a second, and check out the grand finale.
Finish him! Fatality.
Okay, we probably all have that one coworker who leaves a mess in the cab before us. All right, maybe someone didn't have time to clean it, or maybe they didn't have anything to clean with. And I can understand some dirt where your feet are. But man, look at this. I can't believe you have to be such a pig to dirt up the seat like this. Total mess. I actually love videos from India and Bangladesh. They somehow bring positive vibes and they're pretty educational. Nah, I'm just playing with you. This is just two jackasses trying to look cool, playing tug of war with no drivers in the machines. Now you're about to hear what 2,500 horsepower at 2,000 RPM really sounds like. The wind coming off that massive fan was so strong, I had to hold the camera with both hands. The airflow blowing straight into my face felt like riding a bike at 100 miles per hour without a helmet. The wind coming off that fan was so loud that the camera started adjusting the wind noise on its own. But take a look at these massive turbos. Well, I tried climbing up with the grader, but nope, they forgot to swap my summer tires. Can you imagine that? Middle of winter and I'm running tires with basically no tread at all. I slid down about 16 feet and somehow managed to stop the grader using the moldboard. Definitely not a pleasant situation. And this one looks like it's straight out of Formula One. Hey! Our gold and copper mine, which in a few years will become the largest copper mine in Europe. And this is what I call a mega transport mission, moving an 85-meter-long rotor blade through busy city intersections. You can watch the full video in the upper right corner. Honestly, you need balls of steel to even try something like this. The whole machine is right on the edge of tipping over, and you still decide to go down. It almost turned into a disaster. Let's see how this all ends. I've got to admit, this guy has some serious guts. I'm a grader operator myself, and trust me, I wouldn't even think about trying something like this. But we also have to be honest here. The soft ground played a huge role in how this worked out, because the scraper basically sank in. If that surface had been hard, I have no doubt it would have tipped over. And to wrap it up, from an incredible transport job and awesome scraper skills and technique, straight to a total fail. I honestly don't know what the IQ level was here, or who even hands heavy equipment to people like this. This is a slope where even an experienced dozer operator wouldn't go down without cutting and softening it first. But this guy decided to send it anyway, and with a loader. Absolute brainiac. Let's see if he manages to get the machine down. Okay, so far so good. The experienced engineers standing nearby tell him he's clear to keep going. And he does. Yeah, this is what happens when you put a flip-flops guy in charge of heavy equipment, where safety regulations are completely ignored. And when safety isn't a priority, this is the result. Luckily, the operator somehow survived. Well guys, that's going to be all for today. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Yeah, like and subscribe are always appreciated. Until the next video, stay safe out there.